It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, Ace Cosby, Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Tom Griswold.
This is a letter saying, Dear Bob and Tom, I feel that I'm missing out because I listened to your show for the very first few breaks, but I almost never get to hear the Ace Cosby joke of the day.
Oh.
What can we do about that? Are you kidding?
Who's that sexy man with a deep voice? No. Ace Cosby, here he is with his joke of the day.
What kind of exercise do you think lazy people do? Diddly squats.
That was Ace Cosby's joke of the day.
Do you still feel like you're missing out? Author of letter?
Yeah. Now, that actually, Ace, reminds me of something.
That was kind of funny.
I agree.
That really cheered you up, Christy.
It did.
That's because Christy, one of the only exercisers in the room. Let's be honest here.
I do curls.
Okay, relax.
My wrist gets plenty of workout.
Okay. Speaking thereof,
Sorry.
the Diddly Squat, there's a great song from Haywood Banks. It's a classic from Haywood.
Yes.
The Christmas song called Diddly Squat. There is a new version of that coming out.
Really?
By a country artist, and it is this gigantic big band, huge production.
Cool.
You may be hearing it soon.
All right.
It's really something.
All right.
It's a brilliant big band, big horn production of Haywood's song done by an artist I was not familiar with. Apparently a contestant on one of the singing shows.
She has a great voice.
Do you know her name?
I can look it up for you.
Oh,
I'll get the Diddly Squat thing coming up. Which also reminds me, Haywood Banks at the Jukebox Comedy Club this Friday and Saturday in Peoria. One of the great clubs and certainly a great show. Haywood does mostly big theaters, so seeing him in a club, a great thing in Peoria. If you get a chance, give him a call Friday and Saturday and go see Mr. Haywood Banks. Now we're
well, this is supposed to be sports, but this is going to be news-ish, and I apologize if you have the story already, Christy, but I just came across it. This is from Brock.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like the name Brock.
Morning, Brock. There is currently a cow inside the Rite Aid on Underwood Street in Zanesville, Ohio.
No kidding.
I repeat, there's a cow inside the Rite Aid on Underwood Street in Zanesville, Ohio.
He's probably there to get his vaccination.
Please avoid the area as law enforcement are trying to wrangle the bovine shopper.
I don't have that one, but I have a steer in the news.
And we have
this was sent
today,
to us.
Today we have a donkey and 3 separate deer stories.
Like 10 minutes ago, that was sent to us. So this is an active,
I'm not sure what's happening, but lots of loose animals.
And zebras.
Yeah, and there's still a couple zebras on the loose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I still ask the question, who has pet zebras?
They're dead. They've got to be dead.
No, they can forage and obviously do
Too cold here for them.
Josh, you're hiking the Appalachian Trail. You come across a dead zebra. What do?
Skin it.
Keep walking.
And make myself the coolest coat this side of Jersey.
That would be cool.
A zebra coat.
Real zebra. You know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not suggesting anyone go kill a zebra.
I don't think you can do that.
If the zebra's already dead.
You know what? I am suggesting it. I'm tired of us pussyfooting around.
Okay.
Kill as many animals.
Yeah. Mink, that's just for pansies. Zebra, that's a man's coat.
I would send the PETA people into apoplectic. They see a zebra coat.
They're busy worrying about words. Don't worry about PETA. They're
What
fine.
are you doing? We do have an NBA story. That's sports. See, and I do sports, and he says, shut up. Steph Curry, 37, easily won the matchup last night of the NBA's 2 top scorers.
Is that his number of points he had or his age?
Kevin Durant, he had 37 points because I'm talking about the NBA, and we're talking about a game, Tom.
Steph Curry got MVP chance last night while his team was playing in Brooklyn.
That's exactly right.
He's amazing.
Warriors beat the Nets 117-99. America loves Steph Curry, Tom. Don't do
sure
this.
do.
Kevin Durant's a big Pink Panther fan, right?
Well, where do you get that?
Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Steph's only 33, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Glad you looked that fact up while you missed out on our Pink Panther fun.
Yeah, you could have sang with us. You could have sang with us.
No, it's important we get his
I'm not mad at you. I mean, I just wanted you to join us.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
No, it's not
what was the connection?
It's Durant.
Nope.
Oh,
You're out.
Sports with Tom Griswold.
So that would be a good.
Who's that
what
guy?
you're saying is he
What's that
should
guy
start
doing?
selling insulation.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kevin Durant for the.
Oh, all of a sudden he's back.
I got an interesting Henry Mancini fact for you.
Hank Manzini, that's who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, in your defense, you haven't made a 60-year-old reference in the past 10 minutes, so go ahead.
I only know who he is because there's a Kevin Meaney set on Carson where he goes, "Look out, Hank Manzini." Here comes Meaney.
Coming up next,
Gambling's the only addiction I don't have. So it's like I'm safe in Vegas. I mean, as long as I stay away from the buffet.
Tom Griswold, we have a special guest.
Yes, I think we can safely say he's the finest comedian in the English language. It's our friend Jim Gaffigan. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hi, how's it going? I got up early to get my hair done.
Looks nice.
Blown out to chest?
That's good. Yeah.
You know, the thing is, it's like it used to be when you would call in to a radio station, you didn't have to worry how you look.
Right.
I mean, believe me, I generally don't care how I look at all.
Clearly.
Come on.
But I'm excited. So Chick, what kind of like via satellite sponsor am I part of? Is this like the Uber Eats?
You could be. Yeah, well, no, I'm the at the DoorDash sports desk, so maybe you could get in on that with me. I mean, I DoorDash quite a lot.
I think you might like to be part of Ace Cosby's Joke of the Day, Omaha Steaks chair.
There you
Jim
go.
Gaffigan.
How about that?
Omaha Steaks. Yeah, well, that's I'm for steak.
You pro steak.
Pro steak.
First in your country, first in steaks. That's
So
right.
Jim is back on the road doing live comedy again. A bunch of shows coming up, including the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indy coming up Friday. Saturday, Cincinnati at the Heritage Bank Center. Lots of places that you can hear us. Springfield, Milwaukee, and Salt Lake and Boise, Idaho. But the one that's intriguing to me, Jim, I noticed that you're going to be in Beaver Creek, Colorado. Ski country.
Yes.
And I'm trying. Don't you take the family skiing annually?
I do because I think it's important to expose your children to something they most likely won't be able to afford to do when they're older.
Right.
Good
It's
point.
my wife. My wife is like, it's a good idea. And as I get older, I know I look really young, but as I get older, I'm less. It's just like the whole skiing thing is just trying not to die or injure yourself. You're like, all right, I'm going to be taping a special, so I want to make sure that I don't have a broken leg. I don't know. My knees don't bend anymore.
Oh,
wow. Well, I'm heading to Beaver Creek myself real soon, so I'm hoping to survive. It may be tough. But by the way, Feb 16 will be the Vilar Performing Arts Center in Beaver Creek. Lots of big shows coming up. You're in the road. What's it like being back on stage, number one, and number two? It notes here that it's going to be all new material.
It is. It is all... You know, it's great to be back out there. There's a certain, after, and now that we're kind of through Delta, take medical advice from me. But, it feels like people are so excited to just get out of their house, and they're thrilled to, get some live entertainment. Because, like during the pandemic, you really became aware of how important your occupation was to society. And let's just say stand-up comedian, not essential. Not even essential. They opened strip clubs before they let us tell a joke. Right?
Now, when you say all new material, I'm going to ask this. Last time I saw your show, it was brilliant. And then at the end of the show, I hope I'm not giving something away, you came out and kind of did your Stairway to Heaven, and you did some augmented versions of some of the classics like the Hot Pockets, because I guess in a way, in the only way that you're like Led Zeppelin, you do have to do your Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, I mean, we both wear shorts. I mean, well, maybe that's AC/DC, right? Like, I don't even know. It varies. Like now I've got this, this new hour and a half. So it's, like the classics. It's weird. I've kind of post-pandemic or wherever we are in this thing. Because the pandemic is kind of like, it's like we thought it was over. It's kind of like a Netflix show you thought was canceled, and then it got picked up by Netflix.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I didn't pace myself for another season of this. But as of now, I'm doing all new stuff, but it's weird, like a couple of years ago, I was kind of doing some classics, but now it's to the point where I don't know. It's like, I feel like the Hot Pocket thing, it's, maybe it is, some people consider it a classic, but I don't need people yelling it anymore. So I don't want to feed that.
Now, do you kind of, in your heart of hearts, hope that the Hot Pockets people come out with a new flavor, if you will, so you have a reason to bring it back up?
It's tempting, and they're never going to stop, right? I mean, but it is one of those things where, I've been trying to not talk about food as much. Now, just my ticket sales just dropped. But no, I'm trying to, there's different things but the Hot Pocket thing is strange because there is a point where you're like, it's just getting ridiculous where they're just, I guess the next step is a fish Hot Pocket, right? And it's just, but when I was in Omaha, they have the Runza, which is like a German Hot Pocket, which actually tells you what it's going to give you.
We should point out, in case you don't recognize that voice or that face if you're watching, it's Jim Gaffigan, one of the great comedians, and he's on a big tour right now. And you're going to be doing a residency in Vegas, it looks like. You'll be at the Wynn on December 8th, but then you're back there again, if I'm reading this correctly, coming up in May for several nights. You don't strike me as being a Vegas guy. I don't see you on the floor throwing your money around.
Gambling's the only addiction I don't have. So it's like I'm safe in Vegas. I mean, as long as I stay away from the buffet, but yeah, no. What's interesting is I was talking to Birbiglia, earlier this week, and we were just, some of what prompted this is we were just talking about how integral Bob and Tom was to our career. And just, it's like, everyone's life kind of goes separate ways and you become so busy. But I just wanted to articulate how much I appreciate being part of the Bob and Tom family.
Well,
and now's the point where I ask for money.
Time's tight. How much you need, buddy? I got your back.
Well, actually, comedian Mike Birbiglia stays at Dean's house when he's here, so Jim has the good taste to at least use a hotel.
Yeah,
that's true.
Now, are you going to do before we let you go, Jim? Are you going to be doing a big Thanksgiving at your place in New York City, or are you going to be off somewhere?
We're going to be in Milwaukee with the in-laws. I feel like this is going to be an interesting Thanksgiving because this is really the first one where we're going to be full on in-laws, right? And there was the one thing we revealed that was revealed during the pandemic was how many crazy people there are in the world and how many of them are related to us. Because everyone had that relative or friend that just came out as bonkers. And so it'll be nice to see them and eat some turkey with them.
Yes.
Right?
Lastly, one last question, Jim. At your shows, many comedians sell what they call merch. They'll have T-shirts or hats or something. My son Willie is going to be having lighters that have the marijuana leaf and a line through them. Do you have any merch items? And if so, which one is the big seller?
I do posters that are, it's kind of something. It's great, it's good for the graphic designers. It's not like a huge, lucrative thing, but yeah, just so people have a memento. But I never, I never really got that into it. I mean, maybe at a time, I don't know. I've been doing this for 100 years now. So it's like maybe I did at one point.
Cassettes, CDs, 8 tracks.
It's like, I mean, I have CDs in this room I'm in. They might as well be 8-track, right?
Jim, one of my prized possessions is a Jim Gaffigan Beyond the Pale tour poster that you signed for me, and it says, "To Willie, you're my favorite Tom son, well, top 3." And I love it.
And I have 3 sons, of course. I saw Jim's last tour. I've been to hundreds of comedy shows. Absolutely number one. This man is the finest stand-up comedian out there in the English language, and probably in Spanish as well. I don't know what other. That's it. I guess my last stupid question. Do they ever try to translate your act? So if you're on Netflix or whatever with a special, is there a version running in France where they've got it dubbed or?
Yeah, they do the subtitles. It's, supposedly there was a guy in France that was doing a bunch of American comedians material, and the French people didn't know because obviously they only speak French. And so it was a big expose. I was interviewed by the equivalent of 60 Minutes in France. And this guy was just like, he would watch American comedy specials and he would just steal all the material. And he was like a big star.
Le Hot Pockets.
Wow. Yeah, it was kind of brilliant, really.
Once again, Jim Gaffigan, the shows coming up this week will include Indy and Cincinnati. He's doing a Midwestern swing. He's going to be in Milwaukee, also hitting Boise, and lots of spots. We'll link to Jim Gaffigan's website. It's called The Fun Tour, all new material. It's great seeing you, Jim.
Yes.
Thanks so much for taking the time to call.
With you guys.
Nice surprise. Enjoy your day.
Take care.
You too.
Good to see you guys.
All right, man.
Your hair looks great.
Bye.
Well, I wouldn't have said that. That's a lie.
Not lying.
Well, got a kind of an update here. We were informed by a member of the law enforcement community about a certain proper response to a certain type of event. The essence of it was we had a news story yesterday about some dick who walked up to the TSA.
Oh, it was a dick, all right.
Yeah, he was, in fact, maybe I should read. Yeah. Some jackass. And was it the Minneapolis airport, right?
Minneapolis, St. Paul, yes.
People at TSA, they're working hard. They're dealing with the long lines, frustrated people. It's a very tough job. This guy walks up, takes his clothes off, and starts self-pleasuring right in front of him.
Hey, it's a free country, ain't it? Come on, man.
That's what he said.
He actually shouted out, "It's a free country." And as a general rule, when someone says that, it's not a good thing.
No. Yeah.
That's not what the founding fathers had in mind.
That's the top 10 things said after stealing someone's parking space when they're blinkering in already. It's a free country.
It's a free country.
Don't you hate when that happens? It happened the other day.
We were, just to go back to the story that we were talking about, this guy's cranking one there, right there in the airport. And my question was, what do you do? Do you let him finish?
No.
I didn't know.
Don't let him
we
finish.
received a very thoughtful email from a gent with 30 years in law enforcement, and he said, what you do is you pepper spray the guy right down there.
Yeah.
You hit
that
him.
Makes sense.
You hit him where he's, doing what he's doing. And then, Willie, you asked a question, or somebody did that.
Yeah, I said, do you have to, I've heard that in order to hold a taser, you have to get tasered. I've heard that in order to carry pepper spray as a law enforcement officer, you have to get pepper sprayed. I didn't know if that was true or not.
It is. I got 3 letters right here. First one, my son's an FBI agent.
Cool.
Not only do they have to get pepper sprayed in the face, they have to take an agent down and cuff them while their eyes are burning. Then this other guy writes, generally, you are pepper sprayed before you carry it for several reasons. It helps you build a trust in the spray. And you may be hit in an incident with a stray stream, and since you've been through it, you know that you will survive it. Also, you know how much it hurts. Hopefully, you will use it responsibly.
All makes sense.
Yep, does.
Yeah. And in any event, in the case of the mad
Jacker, yeah.
The mad Jacker.
What a jerk,
That's
huh?
apparently what you do. Yeah, okay,
Do you think the guy behind him was like, I knew I should have got TSA pre-check. I knew I should have gotten it. Clear.
Seriously, you know there were families around.
Yeah, the line split back there. I could have gone left. I went right.
Yeah.
Busy airport, too.
If I'm behind that guy in line, I don't get involved. I don't even take my Raycon out.
No.
I just stay focused, eyes ahead.
I would laugh.
Oh, I know. I'd cheer. Show him who's boss, fella.
They're having a tough enough day.
Of course.
They don't need this jerk.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Christy Lee is
Here
at
it comes. Money shot.
Christy Lee is at the Navy Federal Credit Union news desk. What else is going on?
A newly invented fabric would allow folks to pay for their purchases
Oh, my God.
with a high five.
I hate these technologies about fabric.
Engineers at the University of California, Irvine
Hate and
were able to integrate advanced metamaterials into flexible textiles to create a battery-free system that can digitally interact with nearby devices. Researchers said that with this fabric, electronics establish signaling as soon as you hover your clothes over a wireless reader so you can share information with a simple high five or handshake.
No, thanks.
These findings were published in the journal Nature Electronics. Boy,
This is terrifying.
Nature Electronics. What kind of...
So let's say I'm in Bass Pro, and
Yeah.
I walk up to one of the sales guys, and he goes, "Oh, hey, are you Josh Arnold?" I go, "Yeah," and I shake his hand. Now I have to buy a canoe.
No, you've already bought one.
Yeah, exactly.
well, they have all,
That's how it works, John.
No, they just have all your information as soon as you touch them.
Are you getting recognized in Bass Pros now?
Oh, you know you.
Are you an outdoorsy celebrity?
I have to
Is
wear
that
sunglasses and a hoodie. Get in there, get out.
Sir, perhaps a canoe is not for you.
Oh, there we go.
I see. Yeah.
Perhaps
Yeah.
a bass boat.
Here we go. You know, it's
You're
happened.
mean.
It's happened a couple times. Josh and I have been out walking around, and someone's recognized Josh, and I was standing right there, and they didn't recognize me. I find it quite enjoyable. Actually.
Watch the entire show live or on demand at bobandtom.com or listen live with the Bob and Tom app. And be sure to tune in next time for more Bob and Tom Tonight.